Ugh, ads are such poop. Subscribe to Acast Plus now to skip ads and more for just $1 a month. Click the link in our show notes to learn how. And hey, we're on Patreon too. Your support helps cover the cost of running a podcast. For $2 a month, you can get early access to all our episodes ad-free, plus bonus episodes exclusive to Patreon subscribers only. Visit patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse to sign up now.
Three friends were fed up with banking fees. So they took on the Goliaths of finance, built a banking app for the 99%, and called it Dave. Now, millions trust Dave over big banks to get them up to $500 instantly with extra cash. No interest, no credit checks, or late fees. So if you're in a pinch and need some extra help, go to dave.com and think of it as a helping hand from future you. Go to dave.com to get started today. That's DAVE.com. Sign up for an extra cash account and get up to $500 instantly. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together, we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys.
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it. Husband!
Wife!
Do you know what today is?
Well, it's Saturday.
It is! So it's Q&A Saturday.
That's right. And what are we going over today?
Well, we didn't have any specific question.
Didn't we?
No, we didn't. We were pissed because this Elihu kid just comes out of nowhere.
Right.
And it was frustrating, and we were like, who the fuck?
Right.
And so that
Elihu?
Elihu? Who you, Elihu? So, I was trying to look for some question to answer. And at first I started just do another summary of the chapters we covered but then I decided, hold on a sec.
Okay.
Because I stumbled onto something about Elihu.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then, so we're going to talk about him, and we're going to talk about each of the guys.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get on into this.
All righty. Okay, so first, let's just talk a little bit about the book of Job and the way it's set up.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So it's basically split into 3 different sections. There's the prologue, which is chapters 1 and 2, and that's where, God and Satan are doing their little chit-chat.
Yeah.
Okay, then there's the dialogue, and that's where...
All too familiar with that.
Yeah, it's where they're all talking and taking turns talking at each other.
Right.
That is the bulk of this book.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's chapters 3 through 31. Okay. Then chapters 32 through 42, which is the rest of the book, is the verdicts. So we finished up the dialogue, chapter 31, on Monday.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the week, we got into the verdicts.
The verdicts, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's where he's being judged or whatever.
Doesn't feel like it yet, exactly.
No, but we're only in the beginning stages of it. Okay?
Yeah.
So the prose narratives, which is the prologue and the epilogue at the end, which is part of the verdicts, those date to before the 6th century BCE. Okay.
Yeah.
The poetry section, which is the arguments of the friends, the dialogue,
right,
has been dated to between the 6th and the 4th century BCE.
Okay.
So they were not written
at
the same time.
Got it.
And then chapters 28 and 32 through 37, which is Elihu,
Yeah.
Those were added later.
Interesting. So that's why he came in late.
Yes, that is correct. He was late because he wasn't there.
Got it.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. So chapter 32 is where we begin Elihu's verdict.
Sure.
And that's chapters 32 through 37.
Which we have not got to yet.
Right. So Monday and Tuesday, chapters 36 and 37, we'll finish up Elihu.
Okay.
Which, sorry for the spoiler, there's a little bit more Elihu to go.
Right.
Which,
yeah,
that sucks.
Sure.
So my next note says, whomst the fuck is Elihu anyway?
Right.
And I had to say that because I love my notes at myself.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the name Elihu means he is my God. El and then Ehu. And El is God. He's the only character in the book of Job whose name is mentioned in full, including the patronymic, the father name,
right?
His family name.
Yeah.
His identity as a Boozite, remember we kept calling him a boozy?
Yeah.
Or boozer.
Right.
Places his origin in Edom. Okay. Now, he's called a Buzzite because he's from the tribe of Buz. Buz was the father of Uz from back in Genesis chapter 22.
Okay.
And Buz was also one of Abraham's nephews.
Okay.
Okay. So he's from that descendant. He's the son of Barakel and a descendant of Buz, which I just said.
Sure.
Okay. Now, Elihu, as we already stated, is not mentioned in the prologue.
Right.
Okay. And his speeches contradict the opinions expressed by his friends, which we kind of didn't get.
Right.
Like, we thought he was saying just more of the same.
Yeah.
It is kind of different. I'm going to get into that in a minute.
Okay.
So I'm really glad I looked into this because it helps clarify some of the things that we misunderstood.
Got it. Yeah.
His speeches contradict the opinions expressed by his friends, and that it is impossible that the righteous should suffer, all pain being a punishment for some sin. Okay. That's what his friends were saying.
Sure.
It's impossible that the righteous should suffer because all pain is only punishment. So if you're being punished,
right,
it's because you sinned.
Okay. Yeah.
So rather than stressing the idea that suffering is a punishment for sinful actions, Elihu concentrates on Job's sinful reaction to his undeserved suffering.
Okay. All right.
I didn't catch that.
Well, and we kind of commented actually on that earlier on, like when Job was talking, we're like, damn, he's kind of saying some shit against God.
Yes.
So, I mean, that kind of tracks.
That tracks. Yes. And there's a reason for that, which I'll get to in a minute. Okay. A reason that would have been added. Okay?
Got it.
Now, Elihu states that suffering may be applied to the righteous as a protection against greater sin. So he's saying that sometimes we are going to get pain that's not related to sin. We're just going to get pain because it is to elicit greater trust and dependence on a merciful, compassionate God in the midst of adversity.
Okay.
So sometimes you're not being punished. Sometimes it's just a greater lesson.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's a very today Christian apologist thing.
Right.
And it's
God works in mysterious ways.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Yes. So that way there's an answer for whichever way you choose to go.
Yeah, very convenient.
Now, some writers question the status of Elihu's interruption and sermon because of his sudden appearance and subsequent disappearance from the text. Because once he says his say, he's never heard from again.
Elihu out.
Yeah, he disappears off into the sunset.
Okay.
Yeah. Even scholars who regard the book of Job as a literary composition by a single author, which most don't.
Okay.
But even the ones that do tend to see Elihu's speeches as an early addition or commentary to the original book.
Okay. Yeah.
Most scholars consider his section to be a later interpolation, perhaps by a scribe who thought that the book of Job's subject matter ventured too close to blasphemy.
Okay.
Right? And we commented on that.
Right.
So that extra bit was added because somebody was reading it the way we were going, God damn, Job.
Right.
I mean, I feel you, but geez, you are talking
No,
down.
I mean, he was making very good points that a atheist might ask, you know?
Yes.
So, I mean,
so somebody came along and penciled in this little extra, you shouldn't question God like that, asshole.
Right.
So, and that tracks.
So this is why Elihu gets his own special, like, 5 or 6 chapters or whatever.
Yes.
Got it.
He's the moral code.
Okay.
Or whatever.
All right.
He's not mentioned in Job chapter 2, in which Job's friends are introduced, nor is he mentioned at all in the epilogue.
Right.
Okay? Like I said, he just has those massive amounts of chapters that the others don't have and then disappears.
Got it.
Even so, some scholars believe the book of Job was probably written by Elihu. And
Okay.
I'm like, that doesn't fucking make sense, but go off. Okay, so that's all we have to say about about Elihu, because that's all we know.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
But I feel better having looked that up about him.
Yeah, no, that's
because, okay, that makes better sense of what we're reading.
It does.
So then I thought, okay, well, what about these other guys? Like,
Sure.
we never really looked into them much.
Right.
Is there anything special about them?
Is there?
I mean, kinda, I guess.
Kind of,
So
you guess.
the first one, yeah, just
Okay.
follow me.
All right.
The first one to speak is Eliphaz the Temanite.
Okay.
He's the first of the 3 visitors to Job, and he came from Teman, which is an important city of Edom. And Eliphaz appears as the representative of the wisdom of the Temanite, of the Edomites. Sorry.
Okay.
Blah. His name means El is pure gold, or my God is pure gold, because again, Eliphaz, El is God.
Got it.
It might also mean something more along the lines of my God is separate, or my God is remote.
Got it. Okay.
Because, gold is remote. I don't know.
Sure. Whatever.
Now, because he spoke first each time, because remember the dialogues were set in cycles.
Yeah.
Where it was 1 Job, 2 Job, 3 Job, or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I got that wrong, but it was set in that kind of cycle.
Right.
Okay. Eliphaz was probably the oldest of the friends.
Okay.
Because he was the first to speak each time.
Got it.
So, okay. He appears mild and modest. And yeah, compared to what came after, his first speeches were less like attacky.
Right.
They were still not cool, but they weren't as heated as the rest got.
Right.
So by comparison, he does appear mild and modest. His primary belief was that the righteous do not perish. They live forever or whatever.
Sure.
He also believed that the wicked alone suffer, and in equal measure as to how they have sinned. So
Got it.
to him, it's very simple, black and white.
You sinned, obviously, because you're being punished.
Yeah. And you're being punished a lot, therefore you must have sinned a lot.
Right.
So what? There it is.
Right.
There is no
very
further.
clear to me, and so that's the way it is.
There's nothing more to ask.
Right.
Okay. So although quick-witted and quick to respond, Eliphaz loses his composure in chapter 22 because, Job kept coming back with, no, but I didn't though.
Right.
And so finally he accuses Job of specific faults. Job yearns for the justice that Eliphaz claims does exist. And so that's an interesting dynamic between them, in that Eliphaz is saying everything is perfect, everything is the way it's supposed to be.
And Job's like, I wish it was, that I wouldn't be fucking punished.
Exactly. He's like, that would be totally great. And that's what I thought too, until I got punished.
Right.
And it's not black and white, apparently.
Right.
So, fuck off.
Something's wrong here, guys.
Yeah, the math ain't mathin'.
Right.
So Job does agree that there should be an immediate punishment of the wicked. So he's like, yeah, I would like that very much, thank you.
Sure.
However, that simply did not hold true according to Job's observations, obviously.
Right.
Okay, so that was Eliphaz.
Okay. Yep.
So the next guy is Bildad the Shuhite.
Okay.
Okay. He's probably a member of a nomadic tribe dwelling in southeastern Palestine.
Okay.
He appears to be a sage who looks to the authority of tradition. And his original intent was consolation, but he too got kind of heated. In. Yeah.
Right.
His speeches were largely an echo of Eliphaz, but charged with somewhat increased vehemence because he deemed Job's words so impious and wrathful.
Okay.
So he was like doubling down harder on what Eliphaz had said.
Right. Okay.
Bildad was the first to attribute Job's calamity to actual wickedness by accusing his children of sin to warrant their punishment.
That's right. Yeah.
Them's fighting words, bro.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, how dare?
Yeah.
His brief third speech, just 5 verses in length. Remember, we thought it was the shortest chapter.
Yeah.
Marked the silencing of the friends, and that's when Elihu comes in.
Got it. So there's only 2 friends.
There's 3 friends.
Okay, but they don't ever mention. So okay, so someone added this third friend who is Elihu.
No. There's 3 friends plus Elihu.
But the third friend never talked.
No, we're getting to him in a minute.
Oh, I'm
His
sorry.
name is Zophar.
Oh, okay.
I'm not there yet.
All right. I apologize. Sorry.
So there's 4 people plus Job.
Okay.
So there's the 3 friends. There's the weirdo Elihu, and then there's Job.
Okay. Got it.
And then God and Satan.
Sure.
Okay. So anyway, when he gets done, he only says those 5 things, and then he's like, I guess I got nothing else to say, because Job is like, you guys are full of shit.
Right.
You're not right.
Right.
So some scholars believe, because that chapter was so short, they believe that his third speech was an edited fragment of the original one, possibly parts of the original that were given to Job to soften the force of his heresies.
Okay.
So they took from whoever edited this shit, took from what's his name? Bildad.
Yeah.
Bilbo Baggins. Took from him and put into Job's commentary.
Okay.
And I don't really know where that
line was.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it didn't feel off to me, but I mean, I wouldn't know.
Right.
Okay, so that's all we have on Bildad. Okay. Number 3, the third friend, is Zophar the Naamathite. And his name means chirping or rising early.
Okay.
Sure. Naamathite is a Gentile name, suggesting he was from a city called Naama, perhaps in Arabia.
Got it.
Okay. Unlike Bildad and Eliphaz, Zophar only speaks twice. Remember, we did mention that at the beginning, or somewhere one of our Q&As, we did talk about how Zophar is the only one of the friends that doesn't get to speak 3 times.
Right.
And that broke the cycle.
That's right.
Of the dialogue.
Right.
Okay. So he is the most impetuous and dogmatic of the 3, even so.
Yeah.
Zophar is portrayed as more hot-headed than the other 2.
Okay.
He is the first to accuse Job directly of wickedness.
Yeah, I remember this, and I was very not happy about it. Yeah. I'm like, you don't know. You don't know these things.
Right. He even suggests that his punishment is too good for him.
Wow.
That he deserves worse.
Wow.
Yeah. Not only he deserves to be punished for whatever the fuck he did, but now he deserves even more punishment for fucking complaining about being punished. Yeah. Is what Zophar's saying.
Got it.
So he rebukes Job's presumption in trying to find out the unsearchable secrets of God.
Okay.
And he's like, how dare you?
Right. Right.
He promises peace and restoration if he offers penance and stops his evil ways.
Right.
Because, Zophar knows.
Yeah.
He does not have a third speech, and some scholars have suggested that parts of Job's speeches actually constitute this third reply.
Oh.
So, much like with what happened to Bilbo Baggins, or Bildad.
Yes.
They probably took from the guy and gave his speeches to Job.
Right. Okay.
So, I don't know why, and I don't know what purpose that could have possibly served.
Sure.
But that's all I really had. I just thought it was kind of interesting to talk about each of these guys in a frame of like who they are and what they were looking to accomplish why.
They're a big part of the book, so we should probably know as much as we can know about them.
And now we do. Yeah.
So
Elihu was the most interesting, so I probably should have ended with him and not led with him.
Yeah.
Because now I'm like, and those other 3. The end. So sorry about the soft landing there.
So anyway, that was our Q&A for today.
Yes, it was our Q&A Saturday.
And we will be back tomorrow for those of you who are patrons with our
Patreon.
Yeah, that.
I don't think that's what I did last time.
It's
but
close enough, I guess.
Sure.
Anyway, and then I'll get the weekly replay together. And we'll be back on Monday with
Job chapter 36.
All right. We'll see you guys then.
Yep. Bye.
Hey wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe, leave an Apple review, join us on Twitter, support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.